talking trade rumors and the latest on Odell Beckham on this edition of Dolphins Today. Before we get into it, will the Dolphins make a trade involving a player, so not just pick for picks, before this year's NFL draft? 1 for yes or 0 for no. Sound off in the comments section. As we begin with some trade ideas, rumors floating out there. First up is from Pro Football Network. They suggested the Dolphins try to trade for Giants edge rusher Azeez Ojulari, citing some potential depth concerns at that position. Here was the trade idea suggested by PFN. Dolphins, of course, get Ojulari. The Giants get a 2025 conditional 5th-round pick that could eventually be worth up to a 4th round. We'll break that down more in depth here. First, here's the pitch from PFN. Ojulari may still make sense as a 3rd New York pass rusher, but GM Joe Schoen might want to get something for him before he hits free agency next offseason. The Dolphins need one more edge threat behind Jaylen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and Shaq Barrett, all of whom suffered severe injuries over the past 2 years. Now, here are the pick conditions as part of this trade. If Ojulari does not get to 8 sacks, it is a 5th-round pick. If he gets more than 8 sacks, it ends up being a 4th-round selection. I would guess he's not going to get 8 sacks with the Miami Dolphins because he did that in his first year and hasn't done it since then, in part because of injuries, which, by the way, for argument is, hey, we're going to get some extra depth at edge rusher because other guys have had injury problems. Going to add an injured guy? I don't know if I buy that one necessarily. I do get the general argument of, hey, you got to get some more edge depth in there. Phillips and Chubb and Barrett have been banged up. They're veterans. I think a 5th-round pick for a number 4 edge is a little bit steep when there's only 1 year of team control. Because in theory, you lose him in free agency. You probably don't get a 5th-round comp pick back there. So I don't love it. If you were to knock everything down around a 6th-round pick and a conditional 5th, I'd probably have a little bit more interest there. Although the Dolphins are going to have plenty of draft picks next year. They're going to have a lot of comp picks to play with there. So let me put it this way. It is far from the worst idea that I have ever seen and will ever talk about past, present, or future in terms of Dolphins trade ideas. So would you do this trade for that, or that trade, I should say, for Azeez Ojulari? Or trade for him in general? Why for yes and for no? It is today's pinned comment. You should know what that means. It means an ad might play here on YouTube. That's fine. Ignore it. Go vote at the pinned comment. Why for yes and for no. Now, the other one is, this one's a doozy. Blockbuster trade at wide receiver. Dolphins talk had explored the idea of Miami making a blockbuster trade for a receiver. Near as I can tell, this was kind of spun off of the Barry Jackson report saying they're going to potentially do more than the vet minimum for another wide receiver option, which someone went to the extreme end, which I thought was maybe a slight stretch, especially with the names mentioned. They're big ones. It's Tee Higgins and it's Brandon Aiyuk, 2 of the potentially biggest name receivers available on the trade market. The Bengals will listen to offers for Tee Higgins. That has been reported, and that is the reality. If you don't know, I also cover our Bengals channel here at Chat Sports. And yes, they are listening to trade offers. 1,000-yard receiver when healthy in 2022, 2021. Bit banged up this past year in 2023. Meanwhile, Brandon Aiyuk, wouldn't it be fun to add a bigger, Higgins fits this mold too, bigger receiver who you know works in the Shanahan offense. It's the McDaniel offense too, to a certain extent. Obviously, some deviations there. He's gotten better every single year of his career. The production has really just gone up pretty continuously. That's super intriguing to me. So would you make a trade for either player? T for trade, P for pass. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section. I would not do this. And that's not a slight about trying to add impact talent. I get all of that. I think there are real issues with the feasibility of it. And that is why I don't see it happening either. So I guess sorry to rain on parades potentially there. My biggest issue is this. How does the money of all this make sense? How? How are you going to add Higgins and Aiyuk, give up massive draft assets, and pay them what they are looking for? The wide receiver market continues to go up. Not always getting reset, although it will get reset soon with Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Jamar Chase all going to get massive figures in terms of contracts. The other issue that I'm running into here is I'm paying Tyreek Hill big money. He's due for a decision, not this year, but maybe next year, or extension. It maybe would be a fun option there. Jaylen Waddle wants to get paid as well. I'm not paying, upwards of $75 million per year to 3 receivers. That's not a doable option for Miami. We'll go into some of the trade ideas as part of this and why that's also a big problem for me here. But first, today's show is made possible by GameTime. Maybe you're worried about the Dolphins' playoff success or their draft plans or whatever. You shouldn't have to worry, though, about buying tickets to your next big event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. They've got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the best price guarantee. You can see that far right photo. What's your seat's going to be? By the way, opening day just around the corner. Can't wait. A lot of ticket sales for the Marlins. I know they're not going to be that good. You can get some opening day tickets, though. But you can wait like a week, and they're $20 for 2 people. And then these are good seats right there down the first base line in right field. That's a pretty great deal. And they're giving you $20 off when you use promo code FinsChat. So if you want to go to a Marlins baseball game, depending on which game you go, what seats you buy, you could basically go for free or not spend very much money at all. So what are you waiting for? Download the GameTime app today and use promo code FinsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, conditions, etc. But create your account at GameTime.co and then redeem code PHINSCHAT for $20 off. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's GameTime.co, promo code FinsChat. Also got NBA games as well and some soccer, although with Messi, it's a little bit expensive for my blood. So we'll focus on the baseball side instead. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Now, the trade idea that had been floated by Dolphins Talk had been Tee Higgins for 2 second-round picks. And look, they acknowledged it, or he acknowledged, hey, I might be making a decision long-term with one of Waddle or Hill, that's fine. I don't know about that one. I kind of don't want to trade away my receivers I know work really well in the offense to get one who might, and probably will, but not guarantee, work well. Also this part, you're not getting 2 seconds for Tee Higgins. That's the Bengals are not going to answer, or are not going to say yes to that. You'd have to trade at least a first-round pick. The Bengals will listen on Tee Higgins' trade calls, but they value him highly, maybe too highly if we're being honest from a fair market value perspective, but they're doing the same thing you're trying to do in this idea, right? Go win a championship right now. We're not going to give them away for 2 seconds. You have to overpay to get that receiver. And when you have 2 good ones, do you want to overpay for a third and then limit your ability to make other roster moves because you're paying big money and your draft capital's down? Same is true for Brandon Aiyuk. You're going to have to pay maybe even a little bit more from that perspective. Now, look, it makes for a great wide receiver core. It is an elite group. But in the end, making a splashy deal for a third wide receiver is poor asset management. You're moving on one of your best ability draft pick-wise to improve your roster at a bigger position of need, and it's too much investment at one position. Are you going to then trade Waddle or trade Hill or just lose them in free agency? I get being aggressive to win now. It's not the spot I'd be aggressive at to win right now. A more viable alternative could be draft somebody or sign somebody cheaply, maybe outside of round 1 or a little bit above the vet minimum. We have spent a lot of time in this space on the Odell Beckham situation. We knew there was an offer out there. That has now been confirmed by head coach Mike McDaniel, which you don't often get the coach saying, yeah, we made an offer. That's a bit, I appreciate the honesty, though, from Mike. Here's what he said. Things went great with him, meaning Odell Beckham. We did make him an offer, and business takes time, especially with players such as Odell, who's had a phenomenal career. Still has really good football in front of him and has options. So I think those conversations will be ongoing. We'll see where they go. I don't live in the world of crystal balling, and I do stay in my lane as a coach. I'm definitely ready to coach him, and if we come to an agreement, I think both sides are trying to work towards that. We'll see what happens. Now, when the Dolphins make a move on Odell Beckham, or maybe we'll do a short if he signs elsewhere, we will have a video for you. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/Dolphins News. We won't spend too much time on this. We've done it in back-to-back videos, basically. Beckham's not the same guy he was in his prime. Not the same dynamic playmaker that was on pace to be one of the greatest receivers ever with that start to his career in New York. But it can still help if he is willing to take a discounted role in terms of money and playing time and target share, etc. Hill, Waddle, OBJ's top three receivers is fun. And maybe I think there's more upside with Beckham than, say, Braxton Berrios, Eric Ezekama, if one of Hill or Waddle go down. So I have no issues exploring it. I'm just curious what the contract would have to end up looking like and even what that real offer was from Miami.